Yaya and Raishin board a train heading to the mechanical city for their new boarding school. Yaya playfully whispers for Raishin to fall in love with her. Suddenly, the train crashes and they realize it's out of control. They work together, jumping from one train car to another, trying to stop it. Yaya uses her feet to halt the train, while Raishin assists with his special ability, the 48 silent thrusts. With their combined efforts, they manage to prevent a catastrophe. They arrive at Walpurgis Royal Academy, renowned for the Wiseman Party. Raishin warns Yaya not to get too attached, as he seeks revenge and considers her a tool. Despite being disappointed with his training results, Raishin is encouraged by Yaya, who reminds him that real battles are what truly matter. They meet Professor Kimberly, their homeroom teacher, who explains the Academy's purpose of producing skilled puppeteers for the military. The next day, Raishin challenges Charlotte Blue, known as Tarot Rex, to a duel. As they start, other battles erupt. Raishin and Yaya emerge victorious, impressing Tarrant. The following morning, they meet again at breakfast and Raishin notices Magnus, prompting him to prepare for an attack. In this thrilling anime, Yaya and Raishin embark on their journey to the mechanical city, face challenges on the train, and arrive at the prestigious Walpurgis Royal Academy. Their bond is tested as Raishin uses Yaya for his revenge, but she remains devoted to him. The Academy's competitive environment and the allure of the Wiseman Party set the stage for intense rivalries and battles. Through their determination and teamwork, they overcome obstacles and emerge triumphant, proving their worth in the world of magic. As Raishin continues on the Magnus way, two girls step forward to defend Magnus. This triggers a flashback to a past memory where Raishin's training room is set ablaze, resulting in his father's severe injury. In the midst of chaos, Raishin desperately calls out for Nadeshiko. Back in the present, he reaches out to Magnus, expressing his long journey just to see him. Magnus denies Raishin's claim, but Raishin offers a token of friendship. However, 6 automatons misinterpret this as an attack, surrounding Raishin with swords pointed at his neck. Magnus appreciates the gesture and accepts the offering. Despite this, Raishin feels disheartened during his shower, realizing the immense challenge of defeating Magnus, a one-man force controlling 6 automatons simultaneously. Magnus is also a high-ranked Wiseman candidate. Yaya boosts his spirits by hugging him, assuring him of victory in the evening party battles. The next morning, Raishin encounters Officer Felix Kingsford on his way to class. Felix proposes a deal initially rejected by Raishin. However, Felix entices him with an entry qualification for the evening party, prompting Raishin to reconsider. Felix instructs Raishin to meet him after school. In class, Tyron observes their conversation while Sigmund praises Raishin's character. After classes, Raishin meets Felix, who reveals the ongoing situation at school. He discloses that 26 people have gone missing, their automatons destroyed by a dangerous puppeteer known as Cannibal Candy. Felix urges Raishin to find and neutralize Cannibal Candy. Lisette, a committee member, arrives and informs Felix about a half-eaten doll they discovered. Stigmund and Tarrant are also present. Lisette privately warns Raishin to be cautious of Charlotte Tarrant, whose automaton is a band doll constructed from organic parts. She further reveals that Cannibal Candy is also a band doll user. That night, Charlotte visits Raishin's room, throwing a rock at his window and asks him out on a date. Raishin agrees to meet her after school the next day, much to Yaya's dismay. The following day, Charlotte takes Raishin to the location where the half-eaten doll was found. She explains that Raishin will serve as bait for Cannibal Candy and promises to protect him. Charlotte advises him to remain relaxed and allow Cannibal Candy to make the first move. She insists that her intentions are purely to assist. This revelation elicits a reaction from Raishin. They embark on a town date, leaving their automatons behind, holding hands and sharing a meal. During their outing, Charlotte discusses Raishin's combat style, while Raishin reveals his focus on group strategies, having rushed through his training to prioritize martial arts knowledge. On their way back to school, Charlotte confesses that Felix inadvertently caused her to make enemies as a disciplinary officer. Upon their return, they discover that Cannibal Candy has made a move. Raishin returns to his room and embraces Yaya, relieved that she is safe. He surprises her with a pair of shoes from their date. Later, Lisette calls and informs Raishin about Charlotte's disappearance. Shuko and her automaton, Irori, appear and reveal that Cannibal Candy is a formidable opponent, with the Academy suppressing information about the case. Raishin expresses his concern for Charlotte and his desire to help her. Shuko removes Yaya's shackles, revealing her superhuman strength, and warns Raishin about wind and water being Yaya's natural enemies. They join forces to search for Charlotte. Shuko explains Raishin's connection to puppetry and his elder brother Tenzin. During their journey, Lisette reveals the discovery of magic circuits in Charlotte's room. Raishin requests Lisette's cooperation, and they head to the storage facility. Raishin tests Lisette's reaction and realizes she is a band doll. Lisette attacks, injuring Raishin. Guards arrive and Lizette accuses Raishin of being in league with Cannibal Candy, ordering them to secure Yaya. Meanwhile, Charlotte encounters an automaton, thinking it is Cannibal Candy. Felix arrives and reveals himself as Cannibal Candy, targeting Charlotte and Raishin due to their automaton similarities. Raishin taps into his ultimate power to control Yaya. Felix confronts Charlotte, but Sigmund defends her and gets injured. Raishin and Yaya disrupt Felix's attacks, causing them to fail. Yaya informs Raishin about Charlotte's quest to find traces of her lost family. They once resided in the Count's estate, surrounded by numerous automans. However, a tragic incident occurred when a dog automaton harmed a high-ranking boy, resulting in the suppression of their abilities and the disappearance of Charlotte's parents and sister. This revelation deeply affects Raishin, and he becomes determined to reunite Charlotte with her family, devoting himself to becoming a wise man for their sake. The battle between Raishin and Felix commences, with Raishin utilizing his 48 whistling thrust attack alongside Yaya. Their assault damages Felix's automaton's iron mask, exposing a girl automaton named Eliza. Despite Raishin considering her a mere tool, Eliza refuses to stay out of the fight and retaliates. Raishin counters with his 36 fiery thrusts, but Eliza defends herself using a water spell called Undines. Felix launches a direct attack on Raishin, inflicting injuries, yet Raishin perseveres and executes a 24 fiery thrusts attack. Unbeknownst to them, Magnus and Professor Kimberly observe the intense battle. Undeterred, Raishin unleashes his full power, attempting to overcome Felix. In response, Felix's automaton launches an assault on Yaya, but she counters with a powerful 48 pinnacle thrusts attack, nullifying the strike. A series of clashes ensue, during which Eliza transforms into white mist, capturing Yaya. Initially, Yaya's magic is absorbed by Eliza, but Yaya retaliates, revealing the incompatibility of two magics within a single body. This weakens Eliza, fulfilling Raishin's strategic plan. Raishin and Yaya deliver their ultimate blow, the pinnacle thrust body breaker, bringing the battle to a resounding conclusion. Felix resorts to shooting Raishin with a revolver, but Raishin responds with a powerful punch, leading to Felix's defeat. Reflecting on the fight, Magnus discusses Raishin's determination, considering him an unexpected contender in the upcoming evening party. The entry qualification ceremony sees Raishin ranked 4th, recognized as a Wiseman candidate. Bestowed with the codename Second Last by Mrs. Kimberly, Raishin is declared innocent of all accusations. He is celebrated as a hero, receiving the gauntlet, and is presented with a congratulatory gift by Lizette. During the night, a girl accompanied by a wolf automaton surprises Raishin in his bed, claiming to be there to assassinate him. The next morning, Raishin discusses the situation with Lizette, who reveals the girl's name is Frey, a third-year student ranked 99th with the codename Silent Roar. Frey might be planning to eliminate Raishin before the evening party. They encounter Frey and her brother Loki engaged in a fight with their automatons, prompting Yaya to intervene and defend against an attack. Raishin and Loki exchange insults before parting ways. Tyrant Rex appears with Raishin, and Frey expresses gratitude for Raishin's help, mentioning Loki's animosity towards her. Mrs. Kimberly conducts a supplementary class, stressing the significance of the upcoming evening party. Raishin learns about the challenge between the 100th and 99th ranked participants, where removing the opponent's gauntlet results in elimination, and high-ranked participants have the option to skip fights. The next morning, Raishin wakes up to find Frey once again by his side, discovering a concealed knife, indicating a potential assassination attempt. Lizette informs Raishin that Divine Works sponsors Loki and Frey, holding the patent for a magic circuit called Sonic. She advises Raishin to eliminate them. On his way home, Raishin is attacked by Frey's uncontrollable automaton, but manages to subdue it with a stun grenade. Frey apologizes and quickly flees. Later, Raishin and Yaya meet Komurasaki, Yaya's younger sister sent by Shuko. Komurasaki requests mana from Raishin and embarks on a mission, leaving Yaya at the dormitory. With the aid of mana, they navigate stealthily through town and reach a location teeming with dog-like creatures. While conversing with Sigmund, Yaya professes her love for Raishin and her longing to become human to be with him. However, their conversation is abruptly interrupted as Yaya comes under attack. Yaya suffers severe injuries witnessed by Shuko and Mrs. Kimberly. Meanwhile, Raishin and Konu enter a room where they encounter a talking dog automaton named Yomi, who can perceive them even in stealth mode. Raishin learns that Yomi is a prototype of the Garm series and Ravi Frey's automaton Rabbi is her son. They both possess sonic circuits for sound perception. Yomi explains that she was ordered to be dismantled, but Raishin convinces her to join him after informing her of Frey's assassination attempt. Yaya regains consciousness and asks Sigmund to call Raishin for repairs. Lizette attempts to provide mana for Yaya's repair, but it fails. Mrs. Kimberly seeks the Academy's doctor for information on Raishin's condition and strikes a deal with him, offering money for betrayal. Meanwhile, Yomi shows Raishin Frey's room and introduces him to her family, highlighting Frey's kindness. Yomi suggests Frey's actions may be driven by a desire to reunite her family. She also reveals orphan children with a high mana affinity. They escape through a garbage disposal chute but are attacked by automans. Raishin manages to escape with Kumo. Returning to his room, Raishin encounters Shuko, who confesses to using him for information gathering. She explains the concept of using living beings as combat vessels and orders Raishin to steal and destroy Ravi's magic circuit. The evening party begins with Raishin facing his opponent Loki. Raishin initiates attacks, but Yaya is targeted. Raishin requests mana from Yaya and takes a severe blow to protect her. In the chaos, Raishin recalls Ravi and accepts the sword upon himself. Raishin's gauntlet falls and he suffers severe injuries. Yaya, overwhelmed with despair, begins to cry. Loki and his automaton leave without taking the gauntlet. Later, Loki's father orders him to dismantle Ravi in their next fight, expressing anger over the failed gauntlet acquisition. Raishin receives medical care while Yaya becomes uncontrollable with worry. Irori comforts Yaya, assuring her that Raishin will be fine. Lisette waits for Raishin throughout the night on a bench. The next fight between Loki and Free begins with their automatons engaging in multiple attacks. Ravi's attacks prove weaker against Loki's automaton. As Loki prepares to strike a final blow, Frey exhausts her mana by converting her own blood, empowering Ravi. However, Ravi attempts to kill Loki, prompting Raishin and Yaya to intervene. Raishin warns Loki that further attacks on Ravi will consume Frey and lead to her demise. They subdue Ravi by rendering Frey unconscious, and both are taken to the medical center, where Shuko saves their lives and takes possession of the sonic circuit. Frey and Loki are revealed to be orphan children with high mana affinity. Raishin tries to halt divine works to prevent more tragedies, but Shuko reveals the power of the company's owner, who was a wise man 20 years ago. Raishin meets Frey and assures her of Ravi's recovery, emphasizing her strength. On their way, Lisette tries to express her love but faces insults. Nonetheless, Raishin, Yaya, and Kumo proceed to divine works in stealth mode. They discover the missing children upon arrival and encounter Loki and other guards. However, Loki unexpectedly turns on the guards and assists Raishin and Yaya in their escape. As they flee, they engage in a frivolous conversation protected by Loki's automaton. Loki concludes their banter by acknowledging their idiocy and urging them to move forward, injuring several guards in the process. Suddenly, they come face to face with Bronson, Loki's father and the owner of Divine Works. Loki tries to attack him, but Bronson swiftly defends himself and launches a powerful counter-assault. Yaya steps in to protect Raishin, and a fierce battle erupts between the two parties, observed by Mrs. Kimberly and Free. Loki inflicts winged injuries on Raishin, while Raishin attempts a sneak attack on Bronson, only to suffer severe wounds from the automaton's wings. Loki tries to strike Raishin again, but is eventually overpowered. Following his defeat, Loki confesses to his father that he has always been by Frey's side but cannot tolerate those who issue orders, oppose him, or betray his sister's trust. Frey realizes the depth of her brother's care for her. Bronson mocks Loki, belittling them as insignificant pawns and threatening to dismantle him alive. However, they unite to defeat Bronson. Raishin takes the lead, delivering a mighty blow, while Yaya launches a series of attacks and Loki's automaton slashes with its sword. They fiercely contest Bronson, and Yaya's strategy of using exploding sleeves defeats Bronson's automaton by harnessing the sword's heat. Raishin deals the final blow with the moonlit blade, obliterating the automaton. Later, as Raishin lies weakened on the ground, Bronson tries to kill him with a revolver. However, Mrs. Kimberly, revealed as Cruzada, intervenes and shoots Bronson, exposing herself as the mastermind behind an illegal organization. She arrests Bronson for his illicit experiments, expressing remorse and advising Raishin to relinquish his aspiration to become a wise man. She commends the students for their valor. The following morning, Raishin wakes up in the hospital alongside Loki and Yaya. Free arrives with her 5 dog automatons, having triumphed in all her battles. She expresses gratitude to Loki for rescuing her, and he responds by confronting Raishin, labeling him an idiot. They engage in a heated argument, prompting Raishin to escape to the roof. There he encounters Char, who miraculously appears. Char attempts to leap from the rooftop, but Raishin saves her with Yaya's assistance. Char admonishes Raishin as an absurd man and advises him to stay out of her way. She then requests that Raishin indulge her desires, causing him to flee, much to Yaya's displeasure. Yaya rushes towards the explosion to find Raishin, but Mrs. Kimberly stops her, suspecting her involvement. Meanwhile, Charlotte and Sigmund sit on a rooftop, filled with remorse for the lives they've taken. They are discovered by guards, but a mysterious man aids their escape. He takes them to a woman who realizes Charlotte's intent to assassinate the headmaster and the danger she posed her own sister, Henry. Raishin and Henry explore a basement filled with illegal experiments and buried victims, but it is later revealed that Raishin fabricated this story to frighten Henry. Raishin, Yaya, Loki, and Cherubim struggle in their battle against the formidable Shin. His speed and strength prove to be a challenge, effortlessly evading their attacks. Despite the arrival of Loki and Cherubim, Shin's agility and powerful kicks overpower them all. Raishin and his allies are left battered and unable to land a single blow, while Shin taunts them. Just when all seems lost, Frey appears with her automaton led by Rabbi. Together, they force Shin to retreat, saving Raishin and his companions. Frey expresses her gratitude to Loki, who reveals that he is only helping under Mrs. Kimberly's instructions. Meanwhile, Shin converses with his young master, apologizing for failing to capture Henry and Raishin. They discuss the impossibility of directly assassinating the headmaster, as Magnus, who is much more powerful than Shin, stands by his side. The Kingsfort Felix family has chosen Charlotte to carry out the assassination, with a plan to shift the blame onto the Granville Char family. Secretly, the Kingsforts aim to research two forms of God within the academy. Upon awakening, Raishin finds Henry by his side, warning him that they must kill the headmaster by morning to save their lives. Determined to help Charlotte and Henry, Raishin seeks assistance and borrows one of Frey's dogs, Riviera. While venturing out with Yaya, they encounter Shukodrank, who tries to dissuade them but fails. In a moment of concern, Shuko slaps Raishin before walking away. On the rooftop, Raishin and Yaya find Charlotte feeling despondent and conversing with Sigmund. Raishin asks Charlotte out on a date, but she reveals their grim task of killing the headmaster. Charlotte motivates Raishin to join her cause, leading to a small skirmish between them. Raishin urges Charlotte to fight alongside him against their enemies, eventually convincing her. Suddenly, Shin reappears and questions Charlotte's delay in assassinating the headmaster. Charlotte defiantly declares her change of heart, no longer willing to follow their plan. The battle resumes, with Charlotte and Raishin using their abilities to confront Shin. However, Shin defends himself skillfully with powerful kicks, overpowering Raishin, Yaya, and Sigmund. Charlotte searches for the puppeteer controlling Shin, to which he cryptically responds, "What you see in front of you is divine mechanics, the machine doll." Shin's true nature is unveiled as a hybrid of machine and doll, lacking full autonomy. Meanwhile, Frey intervenes as Henry attempts self-harm, explaining Raishin's selflessness in protecting them. Raishin relentlessly attacks Shin, but his teleportation and devastating blows overpower them. Charlotte's mana dwindles and their attacks prove futile. Raishin devises a plan for a decisive strike. With Yaya's help, he brings Shin down, enabling Yaya to unleash a barrage of punches and kicks. Sigmund adds Luster Fire, defeating Shin. A nearby puppeteer controlling Shin is discovered, but they escape. Shin prepares a final attack, but Yaya taps into her full potential, saving Raishin. The young master is revealed to be Alice Bernstein, the 87th candidate in the evening party. Later, Magnus, Raishin Akabane, admits his past involvement in creating a machine doll to Mrs. Kimberly. Raishin vows to pursue Magnus, who denies the accusations. Raishin receives medical care while playful arguments about breast size disrupt Loki's studies. Mrs. Kimberly informs them of ongoing developments, including the clock tower's reconstruction and Henry's well-being in her care. The season ends with a sense of happiness and curiosity about Raishin's future encounters with Shin and his puppeteer.